enormous respect for each other.
White Gladiator has that big striped spear at the neck.
Fires flame during dessert.
Look, the judges are proud. Even the Egyptian judge is impressed.
Until recently, you claimed that the Earth revolved around the sun.
Welcome to History Bites. I'm Rick Green. The news today is full of refugee stories, people fleeing natural disasters, war, famines. But sheep? During the Industrial Revolution, England was enjoying the benefits of coal power, factories, and air pollution. But up in the Highlands of Scotland, the peasant farmers, or crofters, were living the same feudal lifestyle they had for centuries. Now, a lot of their landlords lived in England, and they realized they could make more money if they turfed out their tenants and rented those little brigadoons to shepherds. English factories were desperate for wool, and factory workers wanted mutton, which is hard to believe if you've ever tasted it. So, let's go back and channel surf in the Scottish Highlands in 1814 during the time of the Great Sheep. Because where do you go to hear about downsizing, job retraining, and economies run from south of the border? Aye, lass, on the telly.
Patron of the arts, laird of the lambs. Is he practicing ethnic cleansing or just good economics? Or both? The Duke of Sutherland, tonight on Laddie King.
Hi, I'm the Duke, and it's my going into the sheep business event. I'm making room for more livestock, and everything on my hills must leave now. People, cows, crops, and houses. I'm getting rid of everything. And it's my going into the sheep business event. I've got leases, and I'm not renewing them. All my peasants must be liquidated, because nobody should be on my land. Nobody!
What do I think of the improvements? They've certainly simplified my life. I mean, I used to worry each day how to feed my two children, but now that they've both died of exposure, that's not a problem anymore. And farm work used to be such a chore, but now that the Lord's men took my farm, that's not a problem anymore. And I used to worry so much about keeping my home clean, but now that it's a pile of ashes, the dirt doesn't show. So it's great all around.
Flocks is filmed on location with the men and sheep of private law enforcement.
Yeah, these savages on the Highlands, they got a tough life. I'm not saying they don't, but they're pretty lazy, too. I mean, with these newfangled potato crops coming in, I'm telling you, the whole family's got lots to eat. Who's going to work with that kind of thing going on? Not me, brother, I can tell you that. Sir, did you know the sheep were coming? Sir? Does anybody speak English? Tell them the sheep are coming. Most of the time, these Gaelic guys, they don't speak English at all. So you understand that now, sir? You gotta move away. This land doesn't belong to you. Maybe your grandpappy didn't explain things right. Hey, whoa, sir. We're just talking here. It's the Earl and the government in England, sir. They're putting roads through here. The sheep run's going right through your house, sir. You gotta move away for your own safety to the land the laird set aside for you on the coast. Make sure he gets it this time, would you? Geez, I hate having to resort to violence with these Gaelics. What's that? Oh, what's this? Hey! This whiskey, sir? You know only the government's allowed to make and sell this product? Oh, holy jeez. This stuff's got a metal value of at least 3 shillings. Taste that, Jimmy. Wicked stuff, huh? You got any more of this in the house, sir? All right, sir, you have the right to remain silent. It's a good thing, otherwise I wouldn't understand you anyway.
Lord Stafford, you're a laird. A Highland laird with a mission to make Scotland a better place. What about your Highland critics who call you a loudmouth from south of the border?
Larry, I'm a proud Scotchman. I love whiskey, love the plaid.
Tartan.
Tartan, sure. I even like to listen to the sounds of the pipes drifting across the glens from far away. In fact, the further away, the better.
Well, you've certainly made that possible, living hundreds of miles south of the border in England. Some of your Scottish critics don't like the fact that owners living in a distant superpower are calling the shots.
I don't need to live here in little Scotland to have Scotland in my heart. Our two nations should work together because, Larry, we have a long history of working together, farming together, fighting each other together.
So the Duke of Sutherland has finally got rid of all his tenant farmers. Yeah, all those crofters are finally leaving the Highlands and returning the land to the people who really belong there. Landlords from London and shepherds from Sheffield. How many Englishmen does it take to rob Roy?
You're sending your tenants to the coast. Many people are saying that sheep are ruining the Highlands.
They're just sheep, Larry. How could anyone object to sheep? They're short, they're covered in wool, and they stagger around making unintelligible noises. Hell, you could say the same of most of the Highlanders. So I really don't see what the problem is if I get rid of the people and replace them with sheep.
You know, some people say you prefer sheep to people.
Bah!
By 1814, the Industrial Revolution was chugging right along. People were being pushed off their farms and pulled to the giant new factories and mills, drawn like moths to a gas flame.
The Highlands. I mean, the landowners have essentially chosen sheep over their clansmen in a classic bid for progress.
Country folk being forced into job retraining in factories, and I, for one, think it's fantastic. But it's long overdue. They were living in the Middle Ages up there with feudalism, for God's sake. Let the poor crofters get out and fend for themselves for a while, get a taste of independence.
I think they need the taste of food right now, don't you?
But come on, I mean, is it better for everybody in the long term? You know what they're calling it, don't you? Highland improvements. I mean, and they're doing it without actually improving anything. Can you do that?
Well, that would not make sense.
Well, I agree. The Highlanders had nothing to begin with. Just because they were happy with it, it doesn't mean it's right. The world is moving fast these days. Somebody just invented a train. Oh. A few more years, I'm going to see horseless carriages at Manchester. My God, Byron. The smokestacks belching black smoke. It's a beautiful sight.
More beautiful than the sight of a brown-skinned boy in a kilt plucking potatoes from the fecund earth with his bare hands.
Now, I don't want to get off on a rant here, but hey, John Bull, you with the expensive $2 suit and the 50 private thugs, that was a pretty lame victory, wasn't it? Defeating and routing that powerful army of women and children. Yeah, the lasses lose their leases while all their husbands and menfolk are away. Oh yeah, the Highland guys are over in France fighting to save the Netherlands. And I'm sure some bureaucrat in London's peeing himself purple over that piece of strategic planning, huh? Yeah, send the fierce Scottish regiments off to France to fight for the Union Jack, while some of our English lads sneak up to Scotland and grab their homes. Now, didn't it occur to someone in Westminster that there might be an element of risk to this brilliant plan? I mean, these Highlanders came climbing down out of the Viking family tree.
With the situation growing rapidly worse for the Scots and rapidly better for the English landlords, we go live now to Anna Maria Biscotti at the refugee camp on the border of Strathnavar.
Conditions for these Highland refugees, or crofters, is critical. Overcrowding, substandard shelters, and disease. They tell of forcible evictions from their homes, beatings by hired thugs, and fairies stealing children in the night. They fled here to the coast in search of jobs, but there are no jobs. Looking into their eyes, you see fear, desperation, the odd cataract. One question is on their lips. Or something like that. I believe it was Gaelic.
The situation is deteriorating rapidly. We're dangerously short of supplies. Yesterday, I had 100 bleedings to do, and I only had 5 leeches. This morning, I performed an amputation without an anesthetic, which is, of course, the way we do it in London, but at least in London, I have a proper saw.
The Highlanders' idea of fun is picking up logs and trees and tossing them at each other. Yeah, what do you think they're going to do after kicking Napoleon's bony parts when they return to find home and hearth are pretty much the same thing? There's a wee note on the fence post saying, "Gone to Canada, dinner's on what's left of the stove."
Some of the tenant farmers who'd been evicted from their farms were put into a kind of job retraining program. They worked on Scotland's barren coast harvesting kelp. Sorry we don't have any land for you to farm, but you can have some choice bits of the sea.
Ooh, what are you eating there, Dad? Is that seaweed?
Oh, 'tisn't just any seaweed. It's kelp.
Kelp Crisp is a great natural resource that provides all the essentials your family needs to keep in the job market, especially when the fishing industry is jam-packed with refugees. And it's a great source of iodine.
Ah, it's kind of crunchy. Aye, it's dead salty too. But it's not oatmeal.
This Scottish custom allows couples to live together for a year-long trial period before marriage. Is it hand fasting, mind melding, shacking up, or lease to own?
Well, Regis, I'm pretty sure it's either mind melding or hand fasting. But which one? I'm going to use one of my lifelines.
All right, would you like to consult a palm reader?
No, I'd like to send a carrier pigeon to a friend.
Hey, I'm not a piper or a drunk. I don't live in a cave or eat oatcakes or own a caber. And I don't know Jimmy, Alex or Fiona from Scotland, although I'm certain they're very, very short. I have a chief, not a prime minister. I speak Gaelic and begrudgingly English, and I pronounce it about, not about. I believe in head banging, not fisticuffs. Devolution, not assimilation, and that the Shetland pony is a truly proud and noble animal. A tam is a hat, a dirk is a knife, and it's pronounced not sh. Scotland is the second largest potash producer, the first nation of golf, and the best part of Great Britain. My name is Lachlan, and I am a Highlander.
When we return, crops, fops, and cops. During the Highland Clearances in the early 19th century, thousands of Scottish peasants were told to vacate their land and abandon their crops to make room for a more profitable tenant, sheep. Wool-producing, mutton-making sheep. Obviously, not everybody wanted to say goodbye to their family hovel. So in 1814, the Duke of Sutherland's men turned to new ways to encouraging the stubborn crofters to move on to less green pastures. It was an incentive program that really hit home.
You know, sometimes you have to use a bit of force. You know, really, we just need to control the situation. You know, we're just trying to make examples of the others. You have to do that sometimes. We're just trying to help these people make a life for themselves. Somewhere.
Hey, move along. Move along. Nothing to see here. Come on. Come on. That's right.
16,000 pounds. Oh, yes. Which great Scottish poet wrote the song Auld Lang Syne? Robbie Burns, Angus McMorran, Isabel's boy Willie from the Loch, or Anonymous?
Well, I'm sure it wasn't Isabel's boy Willie from the Loch. He's tone deaf. In fact, in my village, we call him Isabel's tone deaf boy Willie from the Loch.
Really? That's interesting.
And Angus McMorran, I don't know. He wrote Stick It Up Your Pig, the belching song, Gi'e us some whiskey, you bastard barman, but Auld Lang Syne.
Well, that's a tough decision.
Sure is. So, it's either Robbie Burns or Anonymous. And he sounds Greek. Now, I know Robbie Burns is famous, but I'll tell you, Regis, I've seen Anonymous' name in a lot of poetry books and song books. He's very prolific. I think I'm gonna go for him. I'll pick D, Anonymous.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Oh, and you're wrong, Bessie. I'm truly sorry.
All that money.
Joining me here at the Café Libre in Paris is English author Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley. Hi, Mary.
Hi.
Hi. I just wanted to talk to you a bit about your mother, the famous feminist Mary Wollstonecraft, and her work, The Vindication of the Rights of Women.
Sure.
It was a very powerful essay, and it has certainly affected my views on feminism and how important it is that women have equal status with men. Now, it must have had a profound effect on you. How has her work empowered you as a person?
Well, when I wanted to get married to my fiancé.
Oh, yes, Percy Bysshe Shelley, just for the record, girls. He's taken.
Yeah. Right, well, Daddy said no because he was just, a poet. So I said, get real, and Percy and me eloped, right? Because no dad is going to tell me what to do.
Was disrupted by protesters, and I wondered...
Oh, come on, this is a shame, eh? These protesters who don't like the idea of a bunch of rich nobles hunting down animals for sport. Yeah, so what'd they do? They interfered with the hunt because they think it's cruel and unfair. They're all saying we shouldn't be hunting foxes for sport. We should be hunting them for food.
Well, to be fair, when you consider the number of hungry people in this country...
Come on, I don't consider them. It's their own fault for being born in the lower classes.
Well, I'm writing this novel, Frankenstein. It's about a creepy monster. Well, he doesn't start out creepy, he just starts out perfect, and then he gets totally creepy. It's like, ugh. So this doctor is trying to make the perfect man.
Oh, searching for the perfect man.
Right.
So is it a woman doctor?
No, women can't be doctors.
Yeah, we don't see ourselves as policemen, really. And neither do the policemen.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, we're just part of the great improvement, really. You know, if you take a walk up in the Highlands there, it's beautiful, it's peaceful, it's quiet. I mean, you can walk around for miles and not see anybody.
That's right.
Yeah, we're just improvers. Well, that's how I like to be remembered.
No, sir, my mother's in there, sir,
Excuse me.
please.
Hey!
Hey!
This ethnic cleansing of the Highlands was carried out by groups of thugs hired by the lairds. These mercenary blockbusters persuaded people to move on by negotiation, reason, and torching their homes.
Please, sir, we're leaving, sir. We just have to tend to the harvest first.
No time for that, ma'am. The eviction notices went up this morning. Time to go.
No, sir, my mother's in there, sir, please.
We'll handle it, ma'am.
No, she's 100 years old, sir. She can walk well.
Don't worry, ma'am. When the flames start licking the bedpost, she'll be out of there.
Emmeline! God preserve us, the fires of hell are looming. Satan sent his minions for me. But they're strapping good lads, every one of them. Lovely. A lot of young women looking for suffrage were inspired by your mother. She was a very strong woman.
Yeah. Except when she threw herself into the river when her boyfriend dumped her. She was really upset.
You mean she was angry with the misogynistic tendencies and fought back with the only resource she had left to her?
I guess. Or she just didn't want to be an old maid. Ooh.
Number 7, you thought it was Christmas pudding. Number 6, you need something for the whiskey to wash down. I know I would need something there, Paul. And number 5, because life is just a bowl of cherries and sheep entrails. And number 4, the smell keeps the English away. And number 3, if you don't eat it, you won't get dessert. And number 2, you just left the city opium den and now you've got the munchies. And number 1 reason for eating haggis, it beats starving to death.
Could the proud Highlanders be pushed any lower? Stay tuned. When the English landlords started forcing the tenant farmers off their Scottish farms, the goal was to free up the land for sheep. Wool and mutton meant big profits. But there was another side effect to this farming foreclosure. You only have to look at the number of Scottish surnames in Canadian and Australian phone books to see what happened to many of the crofters who had to get out. But a new life in the new world still held the same old dangers.
With us tonight on Nightline, we have Margaret and Minnie Campbell from Canada by satellite. Ladies, you've been in Canada since the first year of the sheep in 1792. Could you tell our viewers what to expect when they get to Canada?
Oh, we love it. We love it here, eh, Margaret? Especially in the winter, eh?
Oh, that's the best. The snow is lovely and soft and everybody stays indoors for days and days when it snows. It's like a holiday, isn't it?
Oh, aye, and Canada's a bustling great country with huge world-class cities and theatres.
And factories. Oh, there's so much food here. I'm bloody bulimic. I'm actually vomiting so I can eat my next meal. Oh, and the roads. Oh, by God, the roads, yes. Superhighways, paved with, well, I'm not saying it's gold, but it's yellow and it's got the atomic weight 197.
So you're telling me the law has actually been repealed?
Oh, yes. About 20 years ago. The Highlanders can wear their tartan any time they want.
We can.
I guess this was a secret repeal, Janet, darling. Otherwise, the English would have had an egg on their faces for calling the ban in the first place.
Yeah, well, if there's going to be another Highland Rebellion, the skirts aren't going to be an issue this time.
Oh, I quite agree. It's not the kilt, it's the equipment behind it.
Don't hit me.
Well, I've been hungry, and I've been cold before, but I've never been both. Is that an improvement?
Well, where are we going to get the money to buy new tartan anyway? We spent a lot of money switching over in the first place.
You can work for a living, by God.
We are working, sir. Working the kelp.
And we iodine users appreciate that, Janet.
Good.
But you know who is wearing the tartans, though? The lairds.
Well, they have it right.
Oh, come on, David. I mean, most of the lairds are English anyway. And apparently they've been wearing tartan all over Europe because they get a better reception, they say.
Well, it seems the British jingoism has finally lost its appeal. I mean, if you're not proud enough to put your own flag on your own backpack, you should stay home.
We just go to fancy dress balls and buy new shoes every Tuesday. Tuesday we go! Tuesday! That's it! And there's horseless carriages. Thousands every 5 minutes to zoom you from one end of the country to the next in seconds. And there's great flying machines with large-breasted lasses that take care of your every need. And we have the boat, too!
The Highland Clearances went on until about 1865. Thousands of Scots were displaced. No wonder they thought of themselves as a nation downtrodden, with the English being the trotters. In 1999, Scotland once again had home rule for the first time in 300 years. One of the first priorities of the new parliament was to abolish feudal landholdings, which, believe it or not, still exist. More than 200 years after the clearances, some absentee lairds may finally give their land back to the Scottish public. Of course, too late for the crofters who left behind their homes, their heritage, and their history. Because history, like a hungry sheep, bites.
All right, well, Sir Tom, let's go to the first question. This is for £1. What invention by James Watt is powering the Industrial Revolution? Is it the steam engine, the ice cream engine, the hard work of honest white Anglicans, or whalebone corsets?
Well, I own a few mills, so I should know this one. But I'm down there so seldom. Horrible places. Oh my gosh, that's a deuced hard one, Philbin, old Pip. But I'll tell you what, I'll use a lifeline on that. I'll take a 50-50.
All right, can we please remove 2 of the wrong answers? All right, there you are, Sir Tom. Is the invention by James Watt the rotary motion steam engine or whalebone corsets?
Well, I know whalebone corsets keep me powered, eh? So maybe it's that. Bravo.